what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Lex in the Box, and we are here at FG3 Fine Art Productions with my boy, Cat Daddy.
Wow. I made it, Mom. I'm on the Lex in the Box show.
Hey, you made it. And first of all, let me just say that we have been trying to set this up for about, what, 1 or 2 years? 1.5 years? 3 years?
And we barely got it, you know what I'm saying? They lifted the mask mandate, so we sliding in, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So we made it.
I mean, you safe, we safe. We good.
Yeah, congratulations on your show, and I've seen a few episodes, so I'm excited to be here in the hot seat with you. You know what I'm saying? You've had some amazing interviews, and I'm just so proud of you. You was always talking about this when we were working together, and you were like, I want to do my own thing. And not that many people, you know, walk away from an opportunity to do their own personal, you know, to pursue their own personal goals. And I know that's the move that you made, so congratulations. That's amazing. That's how I know you're destined for great things. You
Thank
know?
you, Kat. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for the compliments. I really appreciate it. You have no idea.
Well, I'm trying to butter you up because I know you got some lethal questions on there for me. So
well, they're not lethal, Kat. They're not lethal, but you know, we're going to get a little fun side. We're going to get a little serious.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and jump into it.
Let's do it.
All right. So I know you're from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
That's right.
And you are one of 13 kids, dude.
That's right.
Can you please tell me how that experience was growing up in such a, I guess, crowded, no attention environment?
No, I mean, like, you know, my parents, they pretty much ran it like a military. You know, you eat at a certain time. Everybody has chores. You know, you're at bed at a certain time. You were never by yourself. You were never alone. So I think I have high patience. I think I have, you know, high patience. And I really enjoy my privacy. You know, I guess that's where that comes from. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, isolated but not lonely. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoyed my time, you know, by myself. But yeah, it was amazing. You always had somebody to play with. You know, I could go downstairs in the living room and be like, hey, anybody want to go outside and play basketball? And then shoot, we got 3-on-3 right there in the driveway. You know, and then we played a lot of baseball, a lot of sports, a lot of vacations, a lot of road trips. You know, there wasn't a lot of restaurants. There wasn't a lot of, you know, fancy hotels. But just an amazing experience to be able to, you know, grow up with such a, you know, big family.
Well, I love it. Talk about you being a class clown in school and kind of like yearning for that attention growing up and how that sparked.
Yeah, so they didn't call me class clown. I was the school fool. That's what they
the
used
school. Excuse me, the school fool.
Yeah, I was the school fool. But I think that comes from being in a big family. You know, just I didn't grow up to fit in. I felt like I was growing up to stand out, you know, and I think that being in a big family, it forces you to be an individual. And then growing up in the Catholic school, everybody wearing uniforms, you know, they kind of want everything single file. And I think that really pushed my creativity and pushed my personality, you know, to the front. And then, you know, people respond, they laugh, or they, you know, they like your stories and stuff like that. So I would just kind of constantly come up with new ways to just entertain and try to feel like, you know, I don't know, important or anything like that. I didn't feel like better than anybody else. I just felt like, you know what, I need to make an announcement, you know. So I would read the school announcements. I would do school plays and host talent shows. Any chance I got to be in front of the class or to be on stage with a microphone or be in the office with the school announcements, I took all those opportunities just because I hated taking notes. I hated reading. I hated, anything that was just like system, like, okay, take the notes and I'll give you the test on Friday. Like, I mastered that part. Like, now I want to put on a show. Now I want to kind of entertain and be like school fool, you know. Yeah.
Well, talk to us a little bit about, you always tell this story, Kat. He got discovered at McDonald's drive-thru. And so I can remember you telling me this story my sophomore year at Kimball, which was...
Wait, you were a sophomore and I told this story at
Yes, I was a sophomore at Kimball when you told me this story. And so... the next time me seeing you was me working next to you.
Okay.
And so I thought that was super cool, just a way to, you know, wrap up the whole story, you know?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the McDonald's. I love that story.
Yeah, so 16, I start working at McDonald's, and then, you know, they start you off on buns, and then you on the grill, and then you flipping burgers and Big Macs, and, you know, and then you work your way. And so, like, probably, I don't know, I guess about 6-8 months into the job on the grill, I start to get the hang of it. So I start, you know, cutting up a little bit, telling jokes, you know, with my coworkers, just like really enjoying, you know, whatever. And so, so my boss, I guess he was trying to shut me up. He was like, hey, you don't stop running your mouth, bro, I'm gonna put you in the drive-thru. And then I was just like, hey, put me in the drive-through. Like, I work for you, you know. I want to be the best asset I can be to this company, you know. So I kind of threw it back at him, and he called my bluff. He's like, all right, fine. You know, he showed me the ropes, how to take the money, how to take the orders, and then you wash dishes while there's no order. So you wash dishes, take order, then you go run the register. And so, you know, people would come through, and they're like, hey, welcome to McDonald's. And then I started getting comfortable, and then I started cutting up in the drive-through. And then one day, my manager, he comes to me at work, and he says, what have you been doing in the drive-through? And I was like, I don't know. What do you mean? Like, what I've been doing? You know, he's like, well, people been requesting you. And I was like, what? Requesting me? Like, what are you talking about? He said, man, when you're not here, people notice that you're not here. And they're like, where's the guy that's normally here? Like, you know. And so he don't know what he did when he told me that, because then I just turned the swag like, man,
wait, don't even tell us what you were doing. Go from what you did originally to what you went to when he told you that. He turned the switch up.
Yeah.
So what were you doing originally in the drive-thru?
Just, you know, it was nice. It was, you know, I was making a connection. Okay. Hello, welcome to McDonald's. Go ahead, order when you know, I was just real, you know, personable. Okay. But then after he told me that, like, it was just like, hey, welcome to McDonald's, home of the Big Mac with the 2-off beef patties and the special sauce. Go ahead, glance over that menu and order when you're ready. You know, just. And some people would giggle, you know, like people would giggle and have, you know, they would, some people just want their food. You know, some people, they just like, they know what they want. Sometimes they got kids in the car and they're giggling and they're, you know, they want toys. So I would slide them toys or like, hey, free apple pie, whatever. And so that was just like my attitude, just to make the most of their visit, you know, through the McDonald's drive-thru. And that was just something that I enjoyed doing. And so one night, man, just such a blessing. This guy comes through the drive-thru and he says, is that you on the intercom? And I said, yes, sir. And he says, he said, what are you doing in the drive-thru at McDonald's? Like that. Yeah. And I said, what are you talking about, bro? Like, I just got promoted, man. I was on fries last week.
This is a promotion. What are you talking about?
He says, nah, what I mean is, son, you need to be on the radio. It's never about you, you know. It's never about it's about you giving somebody an opportunity or sharing your story with them and giving them something that's going to feed their passion as well. Like, he could have went to Burger King or Taco Bell that night. Yeah. Or I could have been on lunch break for 15 minutes. I could have been off. I could have been an asshole. You know, or he could have been like, thinking to himself, like, oh, that guy's cool, and then drove off. But he's, you know, there was something that he saw and recognized, and then he had the opportunity for me as well. And so, you know, that was really such a blessing. And I mean, so glad he didn't go to Burger King.
It was faith.
I'm so glad. So I never take not one day for granted, you know what I'm saying? Not 1 second on the radio, not one day on the job at all. Just always, and then the opportunity to, you know, open up your eyes and look for your blessing, and then open up your heart and give a blessing. And so that's just been my mantra and my, you know, my slogan or whatever. Just never let me down so far, and, you know, I'm never gonna give up on that ever. I
mean, you really do. He really does live by that. I can attest to that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like
you are literally the best. I'm not gonna lie.
I've been trying to tell him.
Hey, I'm trying to tell him right now. You are literally the best, Kat. What a great story. Let's talk about after McDonald's. Okay. You know, you get discovered. You said you went to college, so. So help me out. You were 17 when you got discovered in the drive-thru at McDonald's. Okay. So help me out.
Okay, so there's more to the story that comes. Okay, so the guy that came through the drive-thru was actually the radio teacher at my high school. My high school, Baton Rouge High, was the only high school in the country that had an AM and FM radio station. So when he comes to the drive-thru, this is part of the story. He recognizes me. Hey, I know you. What are you doing? I want to put you on the radio. He said, sign up for radio as an elective.
Nice.
Okay. So then I go to radio as like a 6-hour class, okay? So like you go to math or English or, you know, whatever you're going to, algebra, you know, I went to be on the radio for an hour and a half. And so, you know, they have a script for us to read. We're playing all James Brown, Al Green, the Supremes, Sam Cooke, Wilson Pickett. Like, that's where the name Cat Daddy came from. Because like 2 weeks, 3 weeks into class, 2, 3 weeks into class, he comes in the office, he says, man, you really like this, don't you? And I was like, yeah, like, what are you talking about? I'm playing music, and I'm talking on the radio, I'm giving out the phone number, like, this is dope, you know? Right. And so he says, well, look, I'm gonna give you your own show on Saturday. And I was like, wait, we don't have school on Saturday. He said, no. He's like, I'm gonna pay you the school is gonna pay you to come and be on the radio on Saturday. So I was like, what? He's like, yeah, it's a 3-hour show. So that's what I started. I was like, look, I'm gonna come up with a name. That's why I came up with the name Cat Daddy. You know, with my friends, they helped me. You know, I was like, look, they're about to give me my own show on Saturday, the Rhythm Request show. I got to come up with a name. I got to come up with a name. And so we were coming up with names, and this girl was like, what about Cat Daddy? And I was like, man, that's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm kind of like flirty. I'm kind of like, you know, but I'm also, you know, really slick to come up with slick stuff and find ways to, you know, introduce music and come out of music. And so, yeah, I started working on Saturdays. It was a 3-hour shift. I got like $15 a week. But it was cool because I would get my report card and then I would get my paycheck the same
right
day.
with it.
Like from
right
my high
with
school, yeah.
Exactly.
And so did that through high school. And then when I started college, I started working at the hip hop station in Baton Rouge, Max 94.1.
Okay, now did your high school teacher put you on
Yes.
to that?
Okay, so the guy named, yes. So there's so many people that come into your life, man, and will take you to the next level and see something and recognize something. And so a guy named Rob Pear, he worked at the hip hop station on the morning show. And I told him, I said, hey man, I wouldn't mind like getting on with y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? How do I you know what I'm saying, how do I get on? And so he introduced me to the program director. And there's another story behind that if you want to hear that too.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So he introduces me to the program director through air check. Basically, he's saying, hey, give me your air check and I'll show the program director what you do, right?
Nice.
So I drop off a cassette tape. Basically, it's like 6 minutes of my best stuff, you know, introducing music, you know, intro, outro. And so then I called the guy. His name is Al J. I said, Al J. I said, you know, this is Cat Daddy. I sent an audition tape through Rob Pear. Did you get my audition tape? He's like, yeah, I got it right here sitting on my desk. I was like, dope. I was like, what did you think? He's like, oh, I haven't listened to it yet, but, you know, just know that I'll get to it and I'll give you a call.
Right.
So 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, I still haven't got a call. So I gave him another call. I said, hey, Al J, man, this is Cat Daddy. You know what I'm saying? I haven't heard anything from you if you listen to the tape. He says, no, I haven't listened to it yet. So then I called him again 2 or 3 weeks later. I'm persistent without trying to be an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Trying to find that line that's like, hey, I want to get in, but, you know, I don't want to just bug you. So I called him the third time. He's like, hey, just come to my office, bro. We'll listen to it together. Right? Yeah. And so I go in there and I have my church clothes on, man, and I'm sitting there, you know, and he listened to the tape and we listen to it together and I see him, you know what I'm saying, bobbing his head like this, like he's really feeling it and whatever. And he says, man, I think you got a lot of skills. He was like, but we don't really have anything on the hip hop station. Would you want to work for the country station? And I was like, nah, I can't do country, bro. Like, you know, hip hop is my thing, and that's, you know, that's not even my lane, and this, that, and the other. He's like, okay, well, I don't have anything for you, sorry. So then I left the meeting, and I called the guy that had set up the original interview, Rob. And I said, hey, I just left the interview. He said, great, how'd it go? And I was like, yeah, he offered me the country job, so I told him no. He was like, you told him no? He was like, Cat Daddy, it's not that type of business where you pick and choose where you want. Oh, I want to do nights. I want to do morning show. I want to do afternoons. He's like, that's not how it works. You get in the door, they see your work ethic, they feel your personality, that you share your stories, and then you slide into the opportunities as they become available.
Right.
So I called the guy right back. Like 10 minutes after
I
walked in.
what was his attitude?
He was like, the position's been filled. And he hung up the phone on me. Yeah. That's exactly how I felt. Man, I'm like, damn, I really messed it up. So 2 weeks later, I called again. 2 months later, I called again. Hey, you don't need to keep calling me. Hung up on me. All right, so this went on for like 6 months. I'm trying to get on. And so, oh man, this is a crazy story, Lex. Wow. So I'm listening one weekend, and they're doing, Max 94.1 is doing Winter and Hour Weekend, okay? And every hour, they're doing Master P Ghetto Dope CD. They're giving it away. Okay, so I stay up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, look, this is gonna be the best time for me to win the CD because nobody's gonna be listening. I mean, not as much as, you know, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you know. So I win the CD. I call in and I win the CD. All right, girl named Adrienne Long. You know Adrienne Long. She longtime DJ in New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and so she was in Baton Rouge at the time, and I talked to her, and you know, she gave me the CD, and I talked to her off air. And she was like, you got a pretty good voice. You think about doing radio? I was like, actually, I've been trying to get on up there for the last 6, 8 months.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh no, you got to stay on Al J. You got to stay on him because he wants people that really want to work here. And so I was like, all right, cool. So the next week I went to go pick up my CD. Crazy. So I go and I talk to the receptionist, right? And I'm like, hey, I said, I won a CD last week on the radio. She's like, okay, yeah, we got you. Here's your CD. And I said, well, you know, I said, if Al J is here, I would like to talk to Al J, you know, the program director. And she was like, oh, I think he's here. And she was like, hold on, let me try to call him. And as she's picking up the phone, he walks out of his office. And he's walking down the hallway. And before I could say anything to him, he said, Cat Daddy, what are you doing Sunday night? I need somebody to work Sunday night. Just like that. All faith, no fear. Yo, I'm telling you, like, and it was just like, he was like, man, there's a whole nother story that goes after that.
Right,
like,
exactly.
It just, like,
it's a whole side of his story.
Yeah. Where he, you know, and what he's going through and how he has to operate. Exactly. And then he's looking for somebody, and all of a sudden I'm right there picking up my prize, and I walked out with more than a Ghetto D Master P CD that day, you know, with another opportunity to really showcase my stuff, and he put me on, and then, you know, it goes and goes and goes and goes, and so now I'm here on Lex in the Box.
Hey.